tears of old, and they flow from my lips and they move through my soul, and I trace the lines in the sand with my fingers. I wonder just how hungry I could get out here. I wonder just how hungry I could get out here. And I found a rhythm that I like. Yes,
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Fibrist Files. Today is Thursday, I think, December 18th, 2014. My name is Heather. I'm also known as Boutros Babe on Ravelry and Plurk, and Fibrist Files on Twitter and Instagram. You can find the shop at shop.highlandhandmades.com. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back, and if you are brand new, sit down, grab a cup of tea or coffee, and you're knitting, and come join us. Okay, disclaimer right at the beginning, I do not have show notes, and there's a lot to talk about, so it's going to be a little disjointed and a little bit disorganized. That's just where I'm at right now, so I apologize in advance for that. It has been about 2 weeks since I recorded. The last time I talked to you guys, my husband was about to go into surgery. He went in the following day. I recorded on a Tuesday, and he went in on a Wednesday. His surgery went well. They had to do a little bit more than they had anticipated, but they are saying that it was a success. With a 3 to 4 month recovery time, we won't know for sure how much his pain is relieved, because right now he's still just a couple weeks post-surgery, so he's still really swollen and really sore and can't do a whole lot. So we're cautiously optimistic on that front. Excuse me. He went in Tuesday, and had his staples removed. He had 46 staples and 3 different incisions around his knee, and those all came out. They're pleased with his progress, and we're just getting through one day at a time. The first couple of days, I'm not going to lie, were pretty rough. He was in a lot of pain, and he needed help to do everything, and we, like, you know how after you do something a couple of times, you kind of figure out what works and what doesn't? So we had to figure that out, like, what's the best way to get him up off the couch? We had to use my foam roller beside him on the couch because the couch is too low, so we needed the foam roller to, like, help him push up. We didn't know that at first, like, which way we needed to put the ice pack so that it was cold but not too cold. Like, just everything was an adjustment period. We got through it. He's a good patient. He doesn't complain or ask for a whole lot. He's been just quietly eating everything I put in front of him without complaints, so we're good. And every day he's getting a little bit more independent. So the more independence he has, the better it is for both of us, because I'm not required to help him get up and down off the couch and, you know, all of those things. So we're doing okay. Hopefully that will continue to improve as he gains distance from his surgery. I apologize for the yawning. It's 3 o'clock, which is usually my nap time. I will say that first week post-surgery was exhausting for us both. He napped a lot between the pain meds and just being tired and sore, and I think I napped pretty much right with him for that first week. I'm just not used to hovering over someone and worried, like, if I'm in the other room and I hear a noise, is he okay? And I have to run out and check on him, and he's like, fine. I was like, okay, but you made a noise. I was just tired, very, very tired. That is getting better as well, again, because I have less to do. I'm back to work. That first week, I really didn't do any work. I didn't dye anything. I shipped a couple of things, orders that came in, but I really didn't do much of anything. I was exhausted. So now that that's back, and I will show you in dye pots what I've been doing. It's good. You definitely want to watch that. And that's pretty much it. My parents came up on Friday for a couple hours to see him and, you know, wish him well post-surgery, and we've gotten cards and we've gotten some wonderful gifts. My friend Tina sent us a game called Make and Bacon. Hello, it's bacon. It's awesome. Which is a dice game and a 1,000-piece puzzle. We've played the Make and Bacon game several times, and we've already done the puzzle. And my friend Carolyn sent us some wonderful movies and games and this awesome project bag, which I'm going to show you because it's amazing. Because I have the best friends in the whole world, and they spoil me rotten. This is the project bag that she gave me. It is the Grinch. You can see it there in his outfits and with presents and all the good stuff. And the inside fabric is this beautiful red and white stripe. And in there was this turkey named Clucky, also very adorable. They've been sitting here so I can look at them all day long. We got some video games and stuff as well, so awesome. Thank you so much, Carolyn, for that. That was incredibly generous of you. We've gotten several cards and whatnot, and people have been checking on us and asking how things are going, and we appreciate that very, very much. Things are going well. So, all right. Sorry, my hair is down and it's like itching my face. Let's move on, shall we, to the knitting. Now, again, for that first week, because I was so exhausted, I really didn't knit much of anything. I knit quite a bit in the waiting room, which I'm not even going to get into because I was in the waiting room a lot longer than I needed to be. But pretty much the only thing that I've worked on this week has been my Jaywalker sock, which I said last week I've modified to be toe up instead of cuff down, but otherwise I'm knitting it as directed in the pattern. I have turned the heel. This is the first sock. I turned the heel and am going up the leg. You can see there that I did end up getting one stripe of green in there, which is a little unfortunate, but it's not enough to ruin the socks for me. But I did my usual wrap and turn heel, short row heel, which is super quick. There's no gusset. I do it until, because I have kind of a pointy heel, I do it until there are 8 stitches remaining before I turn around and add back up. So it is kind of a pointy heel, but it gives you plenty of room there as well. And so I am working my way up. Sorry about the string. And I don't know how tall I'll make this. I never use a whole skein of sock yarn. Clearly I have a crap ton of sock yarn left. But I don't want it to be super duper short. So I don't know. We'll see. But I really love this pattern. I love the way the center double decrease works, which are these ridges here. I'm very pleased with that center double decrease. And the knit front and back, which is the make one, I'm not giving anything away, it's a free pattern, is the way I make one anyway. So that works really well. And I'm knitting these on my 32-inch US2 Chagoo circulars, which I want to talk about in Grabby Hands a little bit. That's pretty much all I've been knitting, and I've done no spinning. My Paul is in my spot on the couch, which is if you're sitting on the couch, it's the left-hand side, which is like right here. He's sitting on that side because that protects his legs so that the dog doesn't lie on it. But that's where I keep my spinning wheel, or I did keep my spinning wheel, but now it's got his crutches and his ice machine and all that stuff. So I put my spinning wheel in my studio and I haven't used it in 2 weeks. Hopefully I will be able to get some spinning done at some point. I thought I was going to be able to do it this morning, and then the power came back on, so I did other stuff instead. So that was it for knitting, and there's been no spinning. So let's get to dye pots. Now, I have gone back into the dye pots, finally. And I have to say, it feels really good. I did not mean to take a couple of weeks off from dyeing, but it's what had to happen, and that was fine. But then I missed it, so it felt really good to get back to it. Now, I have done a set of self-striping colorways. Somewhere Alicia Cram is squealing. I did my traditional set of 6 colorways, and I did 2 skeins of each of these colorways. Now, the way self-striping works, if you are unfamiliar with my way of self-striping, it is first come, first served. There are 2 skeins in each dye lot, and there are 6. So there are 12 skeins total. When they're gone, they're gone. I do not accept custom orders. I don't do pre-orders. I don't do any of that. I do self-striping as I am inspired to do so, and then I don't do it again until the inspiration strikes again. I do have enough yarn on cones right now to do another set of 12 skeins probably. I don't know when that will happen. These skeins are all Christmas inspired, but they're not traditional Christmas colorways. Paul is calling this set Stripe the Halls with Skeins of Jolly. Did I get that right? Yep. Okay, he gave me the thumbs up. So it's Stripe the Halls with Skeins of Jolly. And basically, each one of these skeins is inspired by a holiday movie. Okay? And I'm going to explain the movie and the colors a little bit as best I can. A couple of these I haven't seen a whole lot or haven't seen in a while, so my imagination kind of took over, and other ones are total classics that I've seen 1,000 jillion times. So But like I said, these are not traditional Christmas colors. So there's socks that you can purchase because you like the movie or the Christmas spirit or whatever, and then wear them year round without, you know, looking weird. Okay, so the first one is called Worth Melting For. And this is a light blue. Let me turn the autofocus back on and the right light. I think that will help. That's better. Worth Melting For is undyed, which is white, black, orange, and light blue. And this is inspired by both Olaf from Frozen and Frosty from Frosty the Snowman. So this color is more accurate back here. So Worth Melting For. All of these were done in 4 color stripes, and each stripe is approximately 3 yards. Okay, so they're all even stripes. The next one is called Reindeer Games, and this is red, black, undyed, and brown. So it's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. His black shoes and eyes, the red nose, brown fur, and his white chest. I think this one's called You're a Mean One. And this is a Grinch colorway. It is lime green, medium green, bright red, and black. So that's the Grinch. You're a Mean One. This one is Marley Was Dead. Now this is inspired by A Christmas Carol, and I know you're thinking this does not look like A Christmas Carol, but let me explain. We've got the silver there that is Ebenezer, because he's an old gray-haired man. We have the yellow of the other 3 colors are the 3 spirits that visit him. The yellow is the candle flame from the Ghost of Christmas Past. This is not actually red, it's more rusty. This is the ginger beard of the Ghost of Christmas Present. And of course the black is the robes from the Ghost of Christmas Future. So this is Marley Was Dead, which is the opening line of A Christmas Carol. This one is You'll Shoot Your Eye Out. It is a Christmas Story inspired colorway. It is not showing up. Okay, that's a little bit more accurate. There's a flesh tone, which is the lamp. The pink is the bunny suit. The red is, I can't remember what the younger kid's name is. The snowsuit that he's in and his arms are sticking out. I think that was red. Again, it's been a while since I've seen this. And then the black, of course, is the gun that he wanted so badly. I will say that this skein and its mate will be discounted a little bit because I think you can see it right there. The black bled into the flesh color a little bit, so at each yard you've got a little spot right there. So because it's not going to be a straight color, I am going to discount that a little bit. None of these colors are solid. They are semi-solid, okay? I allow lighter and dark areas to be in the colors because I think it adds a little bit of depth and interest to the colorway. And then this final one is The Sound of Jingle Bells, and this is a Polar Express inspired yarn. This is a dark blue and a headlight bright yellow. It's kind of almost like a lemon yellow. I don't know. It kind of almost is accurate. So it's got a dark blue and a lemon yellow. And then it has a burgundy and a gold. So the presents and the sleigh bell ribbons and all that stuff. So this is, like I said, inspired by Polar Express, which I've only seen once. But so those are the 6 colorways. I'll show them all to you again. And they are all self-striping in the striped maple sock base, which is 325 yards and 100% superwash merino. This is enough to knit a full-size pair of adult socks. It is a heavy fingering, almost sport weight, so you could use it in a sport weight pattern. Go up a needle size, go down a stitch count, and you will be able to knit them just fine. Several people have knit good-sized socks with them, and I promise you it's enough. All right, the other thing that I've been dyeing has been, let me put these, I gotta put this yarn down so it doesn't fall on the floor where the dog hair is a new fiber base that's a limited, you know what, I need to go look online to see what the content is. It is a limited edition special fiber. But when I saw it, I thought it would be a lot of fun to dye. So I went ahead and ordered 10 pounds of it, of which probably 6 or so have been dyed. And I will show you those colorways as well. So this is a Polworth mohair and silk blend. It's 65% Polworth wool, 25% young adult mohair, and 10% Tussa silk. So if you are prone to allergies and you know you're allergic to any of these, that's your warning. I really enjoyed the way the dye took on these. I think they look awesome. I did several Christmas colorways, and then I did some non-Christmas colorways. This first one is called Father Christmas. It is a deep sort of wine red, dusky green, and then this is a sort of a taupe or ecru. No, that's not going to help. Ecru sort of colorway. Sorry, my light is failing because it's getting dark out, so I will try and be quick. That is Father Christmas. This one is called The Goose is Getting Fat, which is a line that Miss Piggy sings in one of the Muppet Christmas movies. Lime green, sort of a jadish gem green, hot pink, and bright red. And then I have Festivus, silver and undyed in blue. And for the rest of us, which is that same wine in a little bit of a different green, along with undyed sections. And those are the holiday colorways that I did. And then I did a couple other ones. This is called Running Buddy. It's a deep magenta, a fuchsia, and a pale blue. Running Buddy. This one is called The Woods Are Lovely, Dark and Deep. I might just shorten that to Lovely, Dark and Deep. That's from a Frost poem, Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening. And you can see how streaky that green is. It almost fades to brown in some areas. That's because of the way that the fiber takes the dye differently, depending on its content. And then this last one does not yet have a name. It's similar to Running Buddy, but a little bit different. It is 2 shades of blue and a couple of pops of a mulberry red. That one is unnamed as of yet. Now, when's the update you want to know? Well, let me tell you. The shop update is going to be tomorrow at exactly noon Eastern Daylight Time. I believe we started Daylight Savings Time, so I think we're in EDT, not EST. Check your Google if you are unsure what time that is in your time zone. But noon should be a time when everybody can easily get to the computer if they want to pick up some yarn or fiber. That would be evening. You know, Australia might be the only place that has trouble. And no, I'm not going to do the conversion because it hurts my head. Katie watches me screw up every time I try. She can do it because she's a pilot and she knows everything in Zulu time, but I can't. So the update is going to be tomorrow at noon, okay? Now, I have to activate, the way Big Cartel works is everything has to be activated individually. So I'm going to ask you for a little bit of patience, okay? It's going to take me about a minute to get everything live. At 12 o'clock, I'm going to start activating them. Hopefully all the listings will be up in the morning, and I might write them up tonight and then just take the pictures to do the pictures in the morning because my light is gone at this point. I can't take pictures this late in the day. But it is available, like I said, it is going to go live at noon. So feel free to take a peek and figure out which one you want and then grab it. I will ship up till Christmas Eve when the post office closes. I don't know what time the post office closes, honestly. They're open noon to 4 most days, so I believe I can get stuff to you on Christmas Eve. If you have somebody in your family that still wants to get you a present, send them the link to the shop or send them the link to this podcast and be like, that's what I want or whatever. Like, there's still time. There's totally time. Okay. That was web dye pots. So up next is growth. Now in growth, I have done the first draft of the club information. Now, I haven't posted that on my blog yet, which is highlandhandmades.com, because I needed to add a couple things. And quite frankly, last night, after doing all of the math for how much the club was going to cost, my brain was very tired and I had a headache, so I had to stop. But I will finish that up today and get it posted hopefully before this episode goes live. So if you go to highlandhandmades.com, you'll get the information for the 2015 Color Study Club with Highland Handmades. There are several options. There is a lace, sock, worsted, and fiber option, and all of those you can either single or double dose, which is 4 ounces or 8 ounces. I had a couple people ask me if there was going to be any merino in the club. There is, but I believe the only merino I have for the fiber is a merino bamboo blend. I have no superwash fibers in there, but of course, like with the sock yarn, there will be superwash fibers. They will all be superwash. And the worsted is a mix of superwash and non. Lace is, of course, non-superwash. If you have any questions, you can contact me at highlandhandmades@gmail.com or message me on Ravelry. My username is BoutrosBabe. Once I post that, the signups will go live, and you can sign up using clicking the link and going to a Google Doc, which gives me all of the information that I need to send you your packages. That reserves your spot, but you will not be charged, and you will not technically be in until the 1st of January when I send everybody the PayPal sign-up links so that you guys can go and set up your subscription in PayPal. You can either pay all at once at the beginning of the year or you can pay monthly. And that will be when you decide sort of what you want for sure. Whatever you put into PayPal is what you will get. So if you tell me that you want a double dose of lace weight, but in PayPal you type a single dose of sock weight, you're going to get the sock weight because I have to go by what PayPal says. It's the only way if there's a problem I can get my money back or my shipment back or you can get your money back. Like it's got to be what PayPal says. And the information will all be emailed to you. So make sure that your email is one that is connected to PayPal and is also one that you check, because I will close the sign-ups. The window will be open from January 1st to January 7th, and then I will close it at that point. So I will take as many people as I can between now and January 1st. If it gets upwards of 100, I'm going to close it because I can only do so much in a month. I had, I think, about 50 people last year, and that was a really comfortable number. I could probably do a little bit more. Especially where there'll be different bases and whatnot. And I've got the holding cabinet, which makes dyeing a lot easier. Excuse me. But more than 100 is going to be too much for me, I think. So look for that. You want to come out, Brat? Come on. Briggs says hi. Okay. Processes. I don't have much for you in processes, because I haven't done a whole lot. It's not quite year end, so my accounting isn't quite up to date, so I can't tell you about that. Yeah, I don't have any processes. If there's something you want to know or see or have me talk about, then shoot me an email, shoot me a message, and let me know. All right, Grabby Hands. Okay, I have some great stuff for you from Grabby Hands. Paul, can you hand me my Chigu set? Yep. Thank you, Dave. Okay, I got in the mail a set of Chigu interchangeable needles. Now, I have not actually used these yet because I've kept them nice so I could talk to you about them on the podcast. These are the Twist Red Lace set. Now, I got the small set, which is US 2 through US 8. Most interchangeable sets that I've had 2 of them. I've had Knit Picks and Knitter's Pride. They both start at 4, and most of them start at 4. That these start at 2 is awesome because that's the size needle that I use the most. And this is expandable. You can see that I have all of the sizes here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I have more pockets down here. There are more on this size, so I can do up from US 9 through US 15 if I want to. I may get those tips separately at some point. And then the cables are in the pocket on the back. And I purchased additional cables as well because I wanted them. So I purchased the 14-inch so that I can have do enough for socks and hats and things like that. But it also comes with, I believe, 32 and 40. I also got some stitch markers, a set of the caps, and a needle sizer. pretty rad. I purchased these from my friend Emily, who runs Fiber Addiction on Etsy. She has a great fiber and yarn business, but she also is a Chigo dealer. So if you're in the market for Chigo needles, go see Emily Fiber Addiction, or I don't know what her username is on social media. Anyway, she's Emily. She's Fiber Addiction. Her stuff is awesome. So thank you very much, Emily, for that. The other Grabby hands I got just happened to show up in the mail today. I am part of Yarn vs. Zombies Geek Club. Sorry for the crinkling. And I got, I believe these are August and September and October. I can't remember. I'm missing one package. I got lost in the mail. So I'm missing two. I lost in the mail, nothing you can do about it. But these ones did show up. This is Gollum. It's a semi-solid blue. And this is Curse Your Sudden But Inevitable Betrayal, which is, of course, a Firefly reference. I am so sad this club is almost done because I love Kiki stuff. Alright, sorry, I need to bag that up so that it doesn't get covered in fat hair. Right, Brat? Okay. The other thing that I have in Grabby hands is a review of Sock Architecture, which is by, I know this, Lara Neal. I don't know why Adobe put that at 173%. That was really big. I know that you have probably, if you've listened to a lot of podcasts or watched a lot of podcasts, you have probably seen this review before. If you watch my reviews, you know that they're pretty thorough, and I do show you my screen as I go through it so that you can really take a look at the pictures and see them. And it's not just me holding up a Kindle with glare and all that other stuff. So I hope you'll stick around for that. Once I'm all done the last set of books that I got to review, I will be doing a giveaway where I have all however many. I think there's 4. And I'll open up a thread, and you just tell me the order in which you want them, and I will draw winners and you will get the first available choice that's still open. So that's coming up. So if you haven't watched my previous reviews, you're going to want to do that. No, I don't know what episode numbers they're on. Sorry. But I think I've done 2 so far, and there's another 1 or 2 coming. I have done, sorry, I'm on Ravelry. I did Mystic Shawls. Did I do Bigfoot knits? I think I did. I have not yet done Knits That Breathe, A Head for Trouble, or Sock Architecture. So that will be 5. So once those 5 are done, I'll go ahead and open up that thread on Ravelry. I did forget to do the Lake Avenue cowl and the shawl pattern. Lake Avenue, Curry's patterns. I'm sorry, Curry. I hope to have that thread open before I finish recording so that you can finally tell me that you want that and I can hand that out. So, also new in the pattern sphere, since I'm looking at my library right now, my friend Amelia Bella just released, she released several patterns. I purchased the Rip Current Mitts pattern, which is a worsted weight fingerless mitt pattern. I am planning on converting those into regular mittens so that I have a pair of mittens because I don't actually own any. So be on the lookout for that. And her shop is Melissa Sibley, S-I-B-L-E-Y. So if you check out her pattern store, which I'm going to do right now and tell you about, she has one-way socks, pedestrian crossing mitts, Rip Current mitts, Atlantic Current socks, and her pedestrian crossing cowl, which has been out for a long time. So that's all I had to say about that. I hope you guys are having a great week. I hope you have a fabulous holiday. I do not know if I will record again before the holiday. Everybody's busy. I know you guys are too, but I will do the best I can to get to you as soon as I can. So until next time, happy spinning and knitting, and thanks for tuning in. But don't leave. Stick around for the review. Okay, great. This book review is for Sock Architecture, Heels, Toes, and Techniques for Knitting Awesome Socks by Lara Neal and published by Cooperative Press. This book is broken up into 4 sections. First is East, West, and a Little History. Second is Knitting Socks That Fit. Third is top-down socks, and fourth is toe-up socks. Now you can click on the page numbers for a lot of these sections and go right to it, but it is of course not necessary. There are several patterns in this book, but not as many as are pictured here. Most of these are variations. For example, Stry or Stree, the first one, has a top-down version and a toe-up version. There's about 10 different socks here. Stry, this is mostly in French. Mouchoir, checked in square, bootstrap, uncommon dragon, dyad, procrastinatrix, sidle, arithmophobia, and a join. Introduction basically just tells you a little bit about the author and what got her started knitting and in designing. East, West, and a Little History is a section that is not required to use the techniques in the book, but it does explain sort of where a lot of the techniques come from, where they've gone to, since we don't use a lot of these or haven't used a lot of these as mainstream knitting techniques for quite some time. It's a really great overview of the history of sock knitting, and it's worth reading before you start knitting. All right, part 2 is knitting socks that fit. There are a lot of ways to adapt a sock to fit you, a lot of heel and toe variations, and they explain, especially for the case of toes, what type might fit which foot best. So again, you're going to want to read this before you start knitting. First part talks about foot shapes, the length of the foot, and then there's segments of the foot, which is the length of the heel and gusset, the length of the straight portion, the length of the toe. All these will have to be measured and accommodated. Some people have long toes, some people have short toes, those sorts of things, as well as the length of the sock from floor to the top, the circumference of the sock. Gives you a lot of the math, explanations you'll need to modify the patterns in here. Part 3 is top-down socks. So it talks about ways to cast on, what are good cast-ons for the legs, and what are good top-down sock heels. So it starts with the flap and gusset heel. Here are the top-down heel types and their features. So we've got the round heel, half handkerchief heel, square heel, common heel, shaped common heel, modified shaped common heel, balbriggan heel, band heel, and short row heel. And these are all demonstrated in the following pages. Also over here on the right, it tells you which patterns use that specific heel. So if, for example, you'd like to try a round heel, you can look for the Stry or the procrastinatrix socks, both of which use that heel. And then there's several categories here you probably can't see. It says picked up stitches, and yes or no, whether there are any. The gusset, whether or not there is one. Short rows, and grafting, whether or not you need to graft. So it's a good at-a-glance chart for your knitting. Now there is here a cautionary tale about gauge. I'm not going to read that, but that's something to be thinking about. Talks about heel flaps and what's unique about them. Okay, so here are the round heels. There's 2 yarn stockinette stitch, which is checkerboard. There's the eye of partridge right here. The slipped heel stitch. Talks about extra long heel flaps, why you might need them. Extra short heel flaps. There's the round heel here. And again, it's got math to it, so you need to know your sizing. There's also a square and half handkerchief heel. You can see here that they show you not only what the heel looks like from looking up at the bottom of the foot, so what it looks like across the back, but also what the side view of that looks like. So you can see, is there a gusset? You know, does it have a pointy end here on the heel, or is it rounded? They're all in full color and they're all helpful. In addition, each of the pictures is labeled, so it tells you what exactly it is you're looking at. Incredibly helpful. That's the balbriggan and the band heel. Then there are also afterthought heels with and without gussets. So this shows you the complete step-by-step of the gusseted afterthought heel, step-by-step. So it shows you there's the afterthought heel hole, and here's how she knits the flap and the gusset and closes it all up. And then there are afterthought heels without gussets, which are similar to, if you've ever watched the Knit Girls afterthought heel tutorial, it's the same thing. You have the lifeline and you cut it out and then you put in your heel. There's also a heel that she calls the Fearless Jedi heel, which is one without that extra lifeline of yarn in there. Thumb joint hat top heel. The decreases are similar to how you would do a hat. Thumb joint flat top heel, 90-degree heel toe. All right, top down sock toes is another section. So there are wedge toes. There's a medium, short, a medium, and a long wedge toe. They're the height of the toe. So the short wedge toe would be for short toes, and the long wedge toe would be for long toes. It's pretty self-explanatory. Also shows you how to do the round and swirl toe. All right, section 4 is toe up socks. So we've got casting on and ways to do toe up toes. So we've got short wedge toe, medium and long wedge toes. There's wide toes, sideways toes, round toes, swirl toes, short row toes, the whole bit. And then she goes into toe up heels. Gussets and why I think about them too much. It's kind of an interesting segment. There are flap and gusset heels. This again is the chart that was the same as the previous one, only this is toe up heel types in their features. So we've got the heel types here, whether or not they've got picked up stitches, gussets, short rows, and grafting, and then the patterns in the book that use that heel. Square and round heel, half handkerchief heel, which is an interesting looking heel. Band heel with and without the gusset. And you can see that the directions are mixed in throughout the book. It's not like there's a separate segment where all of the toes and heels are put in there without any exposition. There is a lot of exposition in this book, and it's worth reading the whole section before you begin knitting so you know what's going on. The leg and a good bind off. This talks about knitting up the leg and ways to bind off. And then here are the patterns. So there's general notes about the patterns, about custom fitting and adjustable sizes, about adjusting for your round gauge, yarn amounts, and whether or not to lose DPNs, magic loop, and markers. Here we've got the stri or the strié top down, which means stripe, groove, or gore in French. And again, this is where you calculate your actual sock size. They have a woman's medium photographed in a child's size. Here's the toe-up version. These start with a woman's extra small, shown in a women's medium, excuse me. Goes all the way to a men's large, and the sizes are adjustable. Okay, so here's the next sock, which is top down. Mouchoir means handkerchief in French. It uses the half handkerchief heel and a simple stitch pattern to match. That's the same pattern toe up. Again, with charts to show you custom sizing. And I'm not going to go through all these patterns, but here's the checked in square, which is top down. Now, when you get to the pattern start, it gives you the sizes. Finished measurements says the leg length and foot length are both adjustable to fit, but it gives you inches and centimeters for foot circumference. So it starts with a 7 and goes up to a 9.5 inch circumference. So as long as you know the circumference, it's up to you how long. So when they say women's medium, they're talking about a measure of thickness, not a measure of length. It gives you the stitches and all that extra stuff. And then here's the toe up version. Again, working out custom sizing for checked and square toe up. This is a workbook section for you. But again, you don't have to do it, but you should do it to get a custom fit sock. That's the whole point of sock architecture. At the end is a section called Resources. The abbreviations that they use in the book. Techniques. So they've got Emily Ocker's circular beginning, provisional cast on. Strap closure, preventing and closing gusset gaps for those people who have those little holes in the corner. How to take care of that. Zigzag bind, and like I've mentioned before, are in full color and they are explained. Talks about the yarn, Simply Socks Yarn Company, which is where the socks came from. There's a bibliography of where the information came from. There's an About Lara Neal here at the end. And then, of course, there's a standard About Cooperative Press stuff at the end. Now, you can find this book on Ravelry. You can also find it at cooperativepress.com. That is my review of Sock Architecture by Lara Neal and published by Cooperative Press.